So before I started this layout, I chose my background pattern paper and my photo. And as soon as I saw this collection, I knew I wanted to scrapbook this photo because it's a really colorful photo and I knew it would work perfectly with this collection. Now, before I got started, I die cut a bunch of sparkles out of different B-sides of the pattern paper. And if you want to know exactly which pattern papers that I used, you can check out the video notes and go to my blog post so that you can see all those listed. So I've chosen some more solid patterns here. They have little dots or small hearts on them, but they're mainly solid. And that's because I have a lot going on with the stripe on the background. But I also wanted a lot of white space on this layout just because there is so much color going on here. So I've die cut these sparkles in about 3 different sizes, and I'm just going through to decide, where I want them to be placed. And it's mainly about creating visual triangles with the different colors. So I might actually not use all of the ones that I cut, but what I do is I like to keep those in my die cut pack with the collection. Okay, so this die cut, it's like a glitter die cut, is included in the collection, and the title, Unicorns and Sparkles, was absolutely perfect for this photo because my daughter insisted that the horse she was riding on this carousel was a unicorn. He didn't have a horn, but because he was so colorful, she insisted that he was. So I want to create a home for this title because it's white and I have a white background. I decided to grab this pink pattern paper. So I'm going to place that on there. I'm not exactly sure how yet, but I'm going to put it on there somehow. I also have this unicorn cardstock sticker, and he is going to be perfect to go just along the bottom edge of the layout. And I kind of have to take off one of my sparkles there just to create a nice place for him. Okay, so I'm going to nail down how I want to adhere this onto the page. I want my photo to be as close as possible to the sparkles because I feel like that grounds it. And the further over it goes, the more detached it seems from the sparkles. So I want my title to slightly overlap my photo and on the right side kind of hit the edge of the white paper. So I'm just going to crop a tiny bit of my photo off. It's about 3/4 of an inch, and I'm not going to miss it. And I don't have to have my photo at 4 inches by 6 inches. And because I did that, I can have just a slight overlap on the ampersand there and the right side of my title exactly where I want it to stop on my layout. I also like how the corner of my photo is in a nice place with that sparkle at the top there. It's all feeling quite nice to me actually. So I'm just grabbing some white cardstock to mat my photo onto before I go on. And I do this mainly just because I like that crisp white border around my photo, even if I am using a white background. Now I feel like I want to add just a little bit more color behind my photo, and I really love this pattern paper. I love how if I put that behind my photo and just a tiny little bit peeks out, you really just get the colors. You don't get a pattern per se, you just get some of the yellow and the pink and the teal. And that's exactly what I want here. So I'm just going to let a tiny bit peek out. I'm just trying to decide which edge to take it from. And it's going to be that upper left-hand corner. And I'm just going to trim that out. Okay, next I want to add a little edge to the pink going behind my title and my photo. So I'm going to cut like a pennant shape from the edge of that piece of paper. And I just grab a pencil here and I'm going to mark the center point. And then I'm going to figure out how far in I want it. But on this one, I don't want it to be a straight line. I want it to be slightly curved. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch that out beforehand so that I cut it nicely, so that it looks good before I cut. And the reason why I wanted to do this in a curved line is because of the sparkle shapes on the right side. They don't have straight lines, so I wanted this to be curved as well. And before I adhere that on, I'm going to pull up those edges so that it looks a little bit more three-dimensional. And I'm just going to make sure I get it in the right spot. Okay, I have this exactly where I want it, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere everything down. I've already adhered the sparkles in place. And before I commit to that, I'm just going to make sure that that is straight. And it is. And next I'm going to adhere my white cardstock down. I'm just going to hold that in place while I put the adhesive down. This is something I do from time to time when I'm feeling a bit lazy. Instead of picking it up and having to recheck the dimensions and making sure that it's centered, a lot of times I will just do this, just hold it in place. And I'm going to cut off the little edge there. Okay, next I'm going to pull out the dimensional adhesive because I want some of my page elements to stick up a bit, like this unicorn. Since he's part of the title, I think he should have a prominent place on the layout. I'm just checking out the cardstock sticker sheet, and it has a little pennant. It's white with sprinkles, really. And I love how that looks tucked inside the larger pink pennant. So I'm just going to put that there for a little bit of layering. It's just a really small detail, really. I'm also going to add dimensional adhesive to the back of my photo. And since my title is overlapping my photo slightly, that means I'm going to have to add dimensional adhesive to the title as well. But I have much smaller dimensional adhesive, so that's going to make it a lot easier to adhere that. I won't have to cut up larger pieces. They're about half of the size of the larger dimensional adhesive that I use. Okay, next I'm going to add a bit more embellishment. I'm just going to leave this space blank right here because that's where I want my journaling to go. And I'm going to print that out onto white strips. Just going to pull out some of the embellishment. I love those puffy stickers. And die cuts are something that I always go for first. So because they're a bit larger, I kind of like to start with those. Have a look and see what's included. So that butterfly is fun because it adds to the movement that's created on the right side of the photo there. So I've pulled out a few of the die cuts, the Good Times Ahead, a ticket, and the little butterfly at the top. It's kind of a yellow one. I went for that one instead. I also have these mini paper clips or clothespins, sorry, these mini clothespins, and I'm going to stick this one right with that little grouping at the top left hand corner of my photo. And what this little grouping does is just kind of create some balance on the page because I have so much going on the right side, and I have that unicorn at the bottom right hand corner. Now I have some larger page elements to balance that out on the left side. Okay, next up I'm grabbing these puffy stickers and I'm just going to add them in little tiny bits around my sparkles. Just for a bit of different texture and smaller elements mixed in with those larger sparkles. And I'm just adding some of the hearts and stars, 5 of those. And I'm going to pull out my cardstock stickers again and grab this little kind of asterisk over there, add that for a little bit of sparkle over there too. So I'm just going to add my journaling and then do some sewing on my sparkles, and then I'm going to call this page complete. So you can see here I added some white thread with my sewing machine to add a little bit of texture on the right side of my page. I love that sparkly title. I love that I didn't have to come up with it on my own and it fit my photo so perfectly. This little grouping created with the die cuts is really fun, and it added that balance that I needed to my page. And who doesn't love unicorns? My daughter definitely does, and it's the perfect embellishment for this page. So I really love this collection, Stay Colorful by American Crafts. Be sure to check it out via the link in my video notes. Thanks so much for watching, and happy creating.